Thank you. Through the Mayor to Council, we had completed the outside agencies yesterday. They came into Council and as part of the budget deliberations and presented starting at 1 o'clock. And then this morning through regular Council, we had Wetaskiwin Transit Coalition present as a delegation, as they are not one of the three outside agencies, but they are one that the city manager has delegated authority for a CPS division to look after. So just in summary, Wetaskiwin FCSS budget for 2025, the city portion that we paid was approximately $88,000. The province contributes 80%, we contribute 20%, so the province contributed $352,000. There is an OBC that Councillor Nielsen put forward for an increase in that, and there was also an ask by FCSS themselves yesterday for a different increase. So we have two increases to think about going forward. Any questions before I move on to Wetaskiwin Public Library?
To Kevin, then in non-functional, the $88,000 that we currently match and send off to FCSS, do we see that $88,000 in non-functional? And where would it be? Like, I know it may be a number.
Through the chair to Councillor Nielsen, yes, it's a non-functional. Please give me 1 second and I'll tell you where to find it. It's 557620. The revenue side is in provincial operating grants. So if you're on your non-functional page, it's the GL line 48490, Department 300, Costing Center 005. It says provincial operating grants. And in that GL, we have a budget of $178,000, which consists of our LGFF, what used to be called MSI grant, and the FCSS grant. And the expenditure side is under expenses in city contribution to programs, GL 57620. The budget for 2026 in that line right now says reads 673,210.
Thank you. And where would I find the allocation to library in the same lines?
Through the chair to Councillor Nielsen, yes. In that expenditure line, we have FCSS and the library and YRL.
And YRL. In terms of our expenses, our expenses to the library include, our expenditures on behalf of the library include YRL, which is in, the operational grant is in. Where do we find our contribution on rent?
Through the chair to Councillor Nielsen. So in that same department, non-functional, under expenses, if you go into GL 59665 with a budget of 1.1,940,000, the portion of the expenses that we cover for the library, which we refer to as in-kind donations, is in that GL line.
Thank you very much.
I'm sorry, I missed that. Can you repeat where that?
So just in non-functional, under expenses, if you keep going down or to the next page, so after grants, city contribution to programs, you have transfer to reserves, grants to organization rebates, provision for tax losses. The next GL 59665, transfer to operations, is where you'll find our contribution to the rent.
What else is included in that number? Because the library rent, I thought, was just 100,000 a year, and that's $1 million and something. So what else is in there?
Through the chair to Councillor White.
Thank you, sorry.
Sorry. The other contribution in there has to do with Peace Hills Utilities, Inc. The other expenditures in there. There's a list if you did want me to go through it. I can't read all of this.
I don't feel qualified to ask questions, but I certainly highlighted and said, why so much on that number? I didn't know what all it was. So it's library and something to do with Peace Hills is 1.1 million?
Through the chair to Councillor White, I could give you the breakdown. Just 1 second. The library in-kind donations portion is 172,410. We have Peace Hills allocation of facility costs, which had up to it's about 900,000 of that is to do with Peace Hills. So there's facility costs. The revenue side is in that same GL line at the top, but the expenditures are reflected in this GL line. $958,470 to be exact.
Sorry, just to clarify, Councillor White, too, the wastewater treatment plant just came online, and prior it was not fully allocated within the Peace Hills budget, and so the power costs, we still have all of that. We charge it back to Peace Hills Utilities, and with the wastewater treatment plant coming online, we anticipate quite a large power bill out there, like close to $500,000.
We, the city, anticipate that, or Peace Hills anticipates that?
Well, all the utilities are in our name, and we charge back to Peace Hills the actual costs.
Through the chair to administration, further in these 2 pages of revenue and expenses, I need help understanding line 45,420, the NWU franchise that looks like $3 million in revenue. Is that something related?
Through the chair to Councillor White, those are our franchise fees from ATCO and Fortis.
That's ATCO Fortis?
Yes.
Okay. And the utility return on investment, the bottom line is Peace Hills?
Through the chair to Councillor White, that is correct. That is for revenue from Peace Hills.
Sorry, sorry for another follow-up question. So that what was budgeted in that return on investment from Peace Hills was anticipated $800K this year. So far it's zero. Is that still coming in?
Through the chair to Councillor White, we'd make this allocation at year end. So the entry is just not posted yet.
Okay. And another follow-up question, I'm so sorry.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor.
So another 150 more K coming budgeted for next year?
Sorry, we have a whole section on non-functional. I think we just went there because of
Okay.
the stuff.
Perfect.
So, I mean, we can answer them now if you want, but there is a presentation for non-functional.
Okay, I'll leave it be. I just need to understand library stuff then. You're right. I dug too deep. Back out of the hole.
All right, moving on.
Sorry, no, I'll stay on the library trail this time. The amount for YRL, I understand, is anticipated to go up 2%. Is that accounted for in here?
Through the chair to Councillor White, we only budgeted $60,000 for YRL.
And is that the same as previous years?
Through the chair, Councillor White, that is correct.
10%. Okay, thank you.
Any further questions? I just ask it if there's any further questions. Okay, all right, to complete the library, as we heard yesterday, the library's ask was about for 49,000 and change, which council will have to decide on. The other outside agency, do we have any other library questions?
Thank you. And it's more so process on this. So is this the time to debate the merits of their ask? Okay. So, it's my understanding that, and I don't have that number in front of me, that they had unspent money from 2025, project to have unspent money from 2025, and yet are asking for an additional dollar amount. I don't have that number in front of me. For the library. So can I get those? Because where will I find their ask and their spend?
It's in the agenda link from yesterday. So if you look at the November 24th council agenda, there is budget, there's fees and charges, and there's outside agencies. And in the outside agencies link, it has all three outside agencies and all of their PowerPoints and their budget requests.
Through the chair to council, it's, if you look at the link, it's page 31 of page 96. And that's where you'll see the library's budget. And then about halfway down in the third column, you'll see what their ask is.
Sorry, what page was that again?
90, through the chair to council, that was page 96.
Administration would print those for you, but the numbers came out so small, you're going to be better off just to zoom in on your computer.
If you scroll to page 31.
Page 31, you said.
I don't have it in front of me here. I'll defer if somebody else wants, while I find this, if somebody else would like to ask a question in regards to this, and I'll come back.
Do you have the numbers to? Yeah, okay.
Through the chair to administration, can you confirm that I've read this correctly, that last year their ask and city's commitment was $525K, and this year they're asking for $575K?
Through the chair to council, that's correct. And their increase there you'll see is 9.4% or $49,410.
Questions?
You'd think I'd be good at it after enough hours, but I'm not yet, so bear with me. I love the library like a ton. Seriously, I love them. I've given lots of time and blood, sweat, and tears. But I think we need to cut this a little. I instead of 50,000 above their ask, I'd give them 25. They've got some surplus that they're running a little bit of a surplus this year. They've got some reserves. I heard there's other computers in the community that are getting used. I want to take it down a notch. I don't know, I'm looking for them now. Sure. Yep. The library, the previous contribution from the city was $525K. This year, they're asking for $575, but they're running a bit of a surplus. I think we should give them not the full $50,000 extra or additional that they're asking for, but give them a 25. So just putting a number out there.
And I appreciate that. When the library runs a reserve, that money goes into capital,
Well, they have 3 reserves. Oh, yeah,
right?
but capital's the only one they've got capacity for right now.
Yes, and so they didn't spend for the last 2 or 3 years all the money that was been allocated for them, and yet they're asking for an additional 50. I struggle with any sort of increase because of the fact that they hadn't been spending for the last 3 years all monies that have been allocated to them. Anytime there is a surplus, that ends up going into reserve that we may or may want to fund, whatever that means. So I can't support an additional 25. I could support continuing on at the current 2025 level. So I will suggest that we allocate the library $525,000.
Pardon? Say that again.
That we allocate $525,000, same as the 2025 budget amount.
Thank you. Through the chair to administration. The 525 is operational costs? Is that correct?
Through the chair to Councillor Nelson, that is the grant that the city gives to them
Thank
right
you.
now.
The
for
60,000 is
operations.
for YRL, but we also pay for the cost of rent. What are the dollar values attached to the rent? Please?
Which is not included in this ask.
Through the chair to Councillor Nielsen, the total in-kind donations is 172,410.
So our total, the total amount that we give to the library right now is $575,000. Sorry, I'm dyslexic. $757,000.
Through the chair to Councillor Nelson, we give the library the 525,130 for operating, and we don't give them the others, but yeah, that's the city's contribution is another $172,000 for 10 in
Right.
kind.
All I'm saying is that on behalf of the library, we're paying the rent, which means like we're taking $172,000 off their plate.
Yeah.
So our commitment to having the library in this community is $757,000. I would, in speaking to your recommendation, so through the chair to Councillor Billingsley, where do you sit on the issue of safety that they presented in relation to incidents at the library? Do you see us having any responsibility to ensure their employees are safe at work?
Well, of course, I want a safe library, but library employees are not our employees. Not saying that I don't care or anything like that,
No.
because that'd be far from the truth. But when we give monies, let's say for cameras, I think they requested, and the other one was computers, I believe.
Yeah.
Those are one-time costs. They're not they're not going to put cameras in every year. They're not going to be putting in computers every year. So that's a capital expense as opposed, right, to operational.
Okay.
So, but what they're asking for is operational dollars.
So are you saying you're prepared to put $20,000 into capital to?
I hadn't given that much of a thought.
I guess my question is this. They've indicated they have money in reserves for capital. You've mentioned cameras are capital. So it's incumbent upon them to spend their capital dollars on capital projects to ensure the safety of their employees?
I'll answer that in 1 second. Is the capital, sorry, is the library reserve, who restricts that reserve?
Through the chair to Councillor Billings, the library does.
So, in theory, they could pull money from that capital reserve to pay for computers and cameras.
Thank you. I'm good with that.
Councillor Aberlin.
Thank you, Mayor Branco. Mine is a follow-up to this dialogue, and I could have been just dreaming that day. It was my understanding that the capital reserve was a building reserve. Do we know that?
Through the chair to Councillor Aberley, I know when it used to be a city reserve, it was dedicated specifically for that, but when we moved, when we separated from them to an outside agency, Tulu, do you have that? Okay. We've got their policy.
The library has their own policy. Okay, am I speaking loud enough? That they follow on what directs their reserve, and their reserve they allocate just to their capital. Though the surplus that goes into the reserve does come most from the funds that's contributed to them and their own funds.
Yep. Thank you. You answered my question.
Clarification. Library employees are not employees of the city. Anyone in the library an employee of the city?
They are not.
Thank you very much. So the motion or the question on the board is to keep the funding for the library the same as 2025. Is that correct? Council Billingsley, you're looking for some friends? I'm calling for the vote for the Friends of Dean.
He's going home tonight.
You got 6, Dean. You got 7.
He's got 6 friends plus himself.
Plus yeah. Thank you. Councillor Nielsen.
Do you need to go back on this topic, Sue?
No, I was going to ask if you wanted to go back to FCSS.
Well, the difficulty, and that was my question going to be, if this is the time that we discuss and debate library, is this the time we discuss and debate FCSS? Because on the operating business case, I have one number. They've come in with a second number. So do we leave it all till we sit and look at the operating business case?
No, I think you need to discuss their ask here, and then you discuss your OBCs when it comes time for OBCs. I recognize that one may have an effect on another. And it's your budget. You could pull it back anytime you want, or you could even just say, we'll discuss this with our OBCs, but technically we should follow through RCMP, FCSS, all the outside agencies right now.
So at the time that I drafted the OBC, sorry, at the time that Kevin and I put together the OBC for FCSS, I did not have all the information that they presented yesterday. So our OBC spoke to doubling their city contribution from 88 to 168 or whatever the magic numbers are. So I have a different perspective on their ask based on my operating business case. So what would happen if I withdrew my business case? We would be dealing with their ask specifically.
Correct.
I will withdraw my business case. Sorry, I will table my business case. Sometime later in the budget discussions. I understand.
So then council will discuss the FCSS request now? Is that what I'm understanding?
Well, I thought that's what we were talking about doing.
Yep.
So, if I may, Mr. Mayor,
Please.
Kevin, could you remind us what their specific request is? What's on the sheet here is a total, as opposed to their request was 221 or something?
Through the chair to
when is-
council, currently they're at 20%, or the city is funding to the tune of $88,000 roughly. They're asking for an additional 40%, which is $176,200 roughly. So the total then from the city would be 264,000.
Right, but 88 is already in the budget.
So
So we would be adding 176, which would be a 0.7 of a tax increase
that is correct.
to meet their. So if I may, Mr.
Sorry.
Mayor, I would like to speak to
Sorry,
this.
sorry, it's 0.85. Their math was wrong.
What?
0.85.
Truly? I find that hard to believe. I might challenge that. Not likely. I would like to recommend support for the $176,800, the full ask. And I do so based on their presentation yesterday and the number of community members they are serving on a regular basis. I have grave concerns if they've got to cut from 4 to 2 staff to ensure that the remaining staff are compensated fairly. I look at services, and while they're different, we are contributing voluntarily, because there's no mandate from the government, to support library. And yet we support library by $757,000 a year. And if I were to draw any kind of comparison, and maybe that's an unfair comparison because two very different deliveries of service, but both those services are intended to meet community needs, safe and well-being. And to suggest, I guess, that for them to do the job in this community where we all agree we have significant social and economic issues, and that agency saying we need this kind of dollars to meet the needs and address some of those social and economic issues, I think is imperative moving forward. I stand down.
Councillor Billingsley.
I know. I'd like to move into camera, or into closed session, please.
Thank you. All of those in favor? Thank you for coming back again. Sorry for all this good debate. Kevin, proceed.
Thank you, Mayor. The last outside agency, well, second last, is we talk about the RCMP.
Kevin?
Excuse me, can I get a motion to move out of closed
I'm sorry,
session?
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I would move that we come out of closed session, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. All those in favor? Carried.
Before we move on to our CMP, what about the discussion of this 176?
FCSCC.
We didn't decide that.
And I'm recommending that we put it into the budget for consideration.
Okay. Any debate on that? If not, all those in favor? Thank you. Go ahead, Kevin. Thank you.
Currently, the RCMP has a net budget of approximately 6.3 million. This is a decrease over the 2025 budget, which was 6.5 million. So this represents approximately a 3% decrease for 2026. A lot of that is to do with, as Inspector Spans talked about yesterday, we used to have 31 positions historically, and when we lost the 4 officers, the last one I believe was went till the end of March of this year. Now we're down to 27 active RCMP officers within the community. So the actual budget for the RCMP, depending on the number of members that they might have on leave at any one time, can fluctuate for this year between anywhere between 5.7 million and probably $7 million. We have budgeted for the full amount. Whether we get to that full amount will depend upon RCMP staffing, and it will depend upon the retro pay that we have to pay for the RCMP when their contract ended of March of this year. It is expected that that won't be completed till about April of next year. So we'll owe 1 year of retro pay, and then we'll have to pay them the new rate starting as soon as that's done. So there are a few unknowns in this, but happy to answer any question. As you know, the inspector was asking for 2 positions this year and another 2 positions over the next 3 years, 2 to 3 years.
Councillor Nielsen.
Thank you. Through the chair to Kevin. So I want to be clear here. The budget we're looking at includes the retro pay. The budget we're looking at here includes the anticipated increase for salaries for 2026.
Through the chair to council, the retro pay and the increased salaries were a part of the OBCs that we presented at the open house. So they're separate in OBCs right now.
So they have not been added to the budget in any way, shape, or form from our spreadsheet perspective.
No, that's why it could fluctuate so much between 5.7 and 7 million, depending on those OBCs and how much staffing, if the RCMP locally can staff fully the 27 positions at all times, which would highly be unlikely.
Okay. May I continue, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, you can.
So maybe I'm just getting a little punchy here. Maybe not just now, but maybe previously too. Inspector Spans came in and indicated he was asking for 2 staff. That's on top of everything else, correct? Or are you talking about that as an OBC?
Through the chair to council, that is on top of anything that's presented here.
And are you saying that the anticipated increase in the RCMP contract is currently not embedded in the proposed budget?
Through the chair to council, yeah, we're saying that there are two outstanding operating business cases, one for the retro pay and one for what the new pay will be going
Thank you.
forward.
Okay, I'm good.
Councillor White.
Through the chair to Kevin Ginn. Confirm for me that I've understood the response to Councillor Nielsen's question. Presented here, the 6.3 for RCMP includes the existing head count of 27. Is that yes or no?
Through the chair to council, currently the RCMP have 27 members as part of the MPSA.
Follow-up question. I heard the ask from the constable about, or no, colonel, inspector, sorry.
Inspector.
I'm really sorry, inspector. For a +2 head count, but I don't see that as a business case. Does that mean that's not being presented to us in any place, other than verbally from the inspector?
Through the chair to council, that would be the same as what the library presented. There was no business case for that. They just asked for an additional $49,000. So the RCMP are asking for an additional 2 members, and the same as what the FCSS presented as well. That would be up to council then to decide at this time.
Thank you.
Councillor Nielsen.
I'm sure this is in violation of some process. If somebody were to put a motion on the floor, I wouldn't support it.
Move on, Kevin.
Nothing further for the RCMP. The last thing to talk about here was transit, but we already had some 2 motions from council on transit, so I don't think we need to discuss any more for outside agencies at this time.
Thank you. Any questions? No questions?
Does council want to continue with council CAO budget or start fresh? Okay, here we go. Where is my PowerPoint? Okay, next slide, please. So this is the org chart representing city manager's office, so obviously city council, myself, all the outside agencies that technically report to council are funneled through into Kevin's area. I've got an intergov and executive assistant position, GM of corporate services, GM of municipal services, GM of community and protective services, and a CFO in financial services. Next slide. The first slide that we have is about council's budget. So there is a net budget decrease of $15,280 that is being proposed. The expense adjustments are on there. It is the decrease of $25,000 in legal costs. There was a budget in there previously that we did not need the entire amount, so that was reduced. And I forgot to put a bullet on there. I was overzealous in submitting my PowerPoint presentation. But there is an increase in the budget line items to WCB and benefits. So that's why, even though there was a 25,000 decrease, there's a net loss there, so it's, the decrease only goes down to 15,000. If you're looking in the binder, your budget is page 93, but it is actually towards the front. If you're looking at your level 3, I believe you are immediately after non-functional. So it would be the second page in the level 3. Otherwise, page 93 in your binder, it is the orange tab that says City Administration. So, I just want to explain your level 3 really quickly. There is, you will see a costing center 025, and that is what we call council corporate. Oh, sorry, I'll wait until everybody's caught up. I'm going to your level 3 just because it breaks out council corporate, councilors, and the mayor.
Way at the back, which one on the green? Council, right?
This thing is like, somebody's gonna give, yeah.
So,
Oh, it's still
excuse me,
works. Okay.
so that one there? All right, sure. Okay, okay, thank you. Yes, thank you.
Okay, now that we're all on the same page, costing center 025 is what we call council corporate, and in there, you'll see like training, memberships, the legal fees were 30,000, we dropped it down to 5,000, and then insurance. And the training corporate is things like your orientation, any council strategic planning. It's also an area that if we have SDAB training or ARB training, the people who we train get trained through this corporate budget. And then each of the councilors is individually, you have your own costing center, and then the mayor has their own costing center. And we recently split this up so that you were getting training for your conferences, you were getting, sorry, let me look at a real one here where someone's actually here. So what we basically split out was the per diems. So you're getting per diems for your board appointments, and then you're getting per diems for your training and development. And so we split out the per diems to make sure that it covered both of those pieces. And then we split the budget equally. So it's the same budget that's always been there. We just split it up amongst the different activities. And yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions about council's budget.
Yes. Councillor Billingsley.
would be in that bucket. And I don't know if it's possible to spend even the $1,500 on board meetings as per diems. So I think $1,500 is lots, my opinion. The next one, 51556, training. So that would be monies every year, like budget. When you go to AB Munis or any other conference, you're allowed to claim $200 per day if it's a full day, right? And from there, that then is another $1,500 that is in the bucket from $1,500. So that part has not changed, okay? And the last one is 52010, which is council travel. That would be your hotels, your potential flights, your Ubers, your taxi rides, right? What's that? Does it include mileage? Yes, would include mileage, right? And that went from $3,000 to $2,000.
You're suggesting a $2,000?
$2,000 for all of us. So I'll start there as far as the discussion goes. I'm not quite done, but as far as us council budget, that's where I'd like to start.
Thank you. Councillor Nielsen.
Through the chair to Councillor Billingsley. In the past, and the reason administration has split this out is because there was a request by council previously to move away from one big pot that everybody could dive into till it was gone.
Correct.
This is restricting, I don't mean to be restricting in that. This is ensuring that people are held accountable to a finite set of dollars for their personal growth development and committee work and council travel.
That's my intent.
Thank you. And none of my fees or your fees are transferable to anyone else.
Correct.
Thank you.
Councillor Aberling.
Thank you, Mayor Branco. My question is mostly around the per diem training and travel for that, and it's, how did you select those numbers?
Sure.
Yeah.
So, and I'll skip a page. One of the recommendations, one of the things that I'm actually going to bring forward is our removal from both FCM and MCMC. Somebody would have to sell me on the amount of money that we have spent over the years and the benefit that we receive from these two organizations don't equate. So not, if that's the case and we're no longer going to be part of these organizations, we won't be traveling to so-said events, which means that there will be no conferences for MCMC, there will be no FCM conferences, and therefore dollars will not be required for those events.
Unless I choose to spend my dollars attending those events.
I don't know if you would be allowed to
No,
go to an
too,
FCM
yes.
conference if we're not a member. I would guess.
No, for sure. But I'm saying it doesn't restrict me from applying to do
Sure,
any kind of travel or professional growth.
absolutely not.
Thank you.
Councillor Aberling.
Sorry, Karen.
All I'm going to say is then I cannot vote in favor of this until we've had the second vote, until we've talked about the other items, because in my opinion now, the number basing, we had this discussion once, so I'm just bringing it up, is that we're totally looking at the cart and not the horse yet. Because if you're basing your numbers on a motion that you're proposing, we're acting like it's already happened.
Well, whether or not we stay in those organizations or not, you still have the ability to pick and choose which things you want to do for your PD.
My argument towards that, though, Councillor Billingsley, is just that if council, because I will be arguing in favor of one of the two of them, maintaining that membership, and I would not like those per diems to not be there because I do find one of them of value to this council. That's why I would have preferred to see it the other way.
Thank you. Sue?
Thanks. Just for clarification to council, your FCM membership is in your council corporate, in your memberships, but the MCMC is in the city manager's memberships budget, just as a point of reference.
Thank you. Councillor Nielsen?
Thank you. Just a comment. See, I don't see the cart before the horse or the horse before the cart. I hear saying, here's where your dollars lie for you to use as you see fit.
Mike?
It's on. And so each of us have X number of dollars set aside for professional development. The second motion is to get out of 2 organizations. That motion could be defeated, and it has no bearing on how we spend our money. So I don't think one comes before the other, unless you're saying, if we stay in those organizations, we'll need more money.
Councillor Aberline?
Thank you, Mayor Branco, and it is kind of a rebuttal in the sense that that's why my vote would change, because I think that if we stayed in the organizations, the money would be more likely to be used, and if not, then we're overtaxing at a level, and that's what would change my vote to be in favor. Right now, I'm opposed in general to the idea because I want council the opportunity to go to conferences and have professional development, but if I wouldn't have that opportunity as a non-member, then my vote would change. So I didn't want to overtax.
I like to ask a question. PD, so if we go to Calgary and we have a lot of ministers down there and we go down there, does that get eliminated? Because if we exceeded our expenses.
You can choose whatever you would like to do. Yes, that's already in policy. What I am saying is...
But you're putting a limit on our policies.
No, I'm putting a limit on the budget.
On each individual budget.
But that's, we've already had, I'm reducing that amount. If you go to AB Munis and you find that that is very important to you, go. Absolutely go. I'm not restricting that. But maybe for Wayne, it's more important to go to Flin Flon, Manitoba. He thinks that that's far more important to him. Then he can go.
So how do you budget the mayor? Because if I'm obviously got to have more.
Why?
Well, because we belong to more mid-cities mayor. We have.
But why is that important?
You're controlling council's budget, so I imagine you want to control the mayor's budget.
One and the same.
Oh, yes, one and the same. We're all one.
So, to Karen, if you would like to have the discussion with that, I have no problem doing one before the other. The order doesn't matter to me.
Councilor, Councilor White, you had your hand up? Councilor Hoyle?
To Councillor Billingsley, so we've just, and I had these circled from before, so you're looking at reducing the council board per diems, correct? From 3,000 to 1,500? So committee?
Yes,
Okay,
because.
so 51550?
Yes, because I don't know if it's
But
it's
every-
just forward work, it's tough to spend $1,500.
I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, when this, and this is September, correct? These numbers are from September, that are actually 2025 numbers that are over that already.
Part of the,
Does that make sense?
yeah, oh, it does. And in fact, I had some concerns about proper coding. And this is going to be critical.
Okay, that's my confusion.
Yes, because if I look at somebody who sits on the library board, you meet 9 times a year, even if they were 4-hour meetings each, right, you would be over.
Right.
But they're not 4-hour meetings. They're generally less than 2-hour meetings. Sure, right. But lots of them aren't. And I look at, let's say, the Chamber of Commerce. They're less than an hour, and we meet 9 times a year.
Councillor Aberlin and then Councillor Nielsen.
Thank you, Mayor Bronco. Through the chair to, I think it's to administration. When you said training corporate, and I'm going to, ARB and SDAB, I may never claim being in those meetings because they don't happen very often, but the training would take me really close to that. Like, it has overtraining. So that's going to come out of my training corporate bill, not out of my council per diem.
Correct.
That's what you said? Make sure
Yes.
I understand. Okay, thank you.
So I'd be okay with switching if because this is one, it's very, you from $1,500, let's say, to $2,500 or $2,000, because you don't necessarily have a choice of, in theory, of going, right? If the library meeting ends up going 4.5 hours, it is what it is.
Councillor Nielsen first.
Yep. The per diem would not be paid. Correct. Fine.
I have a question. If we go,
we haven't straw polled any of the other three, so. So can I was just going to say, tell you what, I am suggesting to moving training corporate from $1,500 to $1,000, and that is 51430 for all 7 of us. Yes, I am.
I got Councillor Hoyle first, and you.
Well, no, I think we're going to go do them category by category, correct? So that we're not confused?
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll wait, thanks.
Before I vote, I apologize, Sue. ARB and CARB is not part of that number at all.
Correct. So training corporate that's in the individual counselors is what Councillor Billingsley's talking about. Training corporate in 025, I usually control that.
So, forget what I was going to ask. But, so if we have, that's not a per diem, that's traveling. Okay, I'll pass. I'll come back to that.
For 51430.
5130.
That's training corporate for all 7 of us to change it to $1,000.
What, we making a motion? Okay.
Recommendation.
Okay. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
So 51510, which is council salaries to change from 32,880 to 33,880 for 6 of us. And that will then feed the remuneration policy. For acting as deputy mayor.
Through the chair to Councillor Billingsley, by increasing it by $1,000, you've done that in your policy. Please note that it will increase by slightly more than that because it has a ripple effect on employer contributions and WCB.
All the different things,
Thank you.
yes.
Question, if I may ask, what was before the per diems for deputy mayor?
It was 0 until today.
No,
Sorry,
that
it was-
wasn't. It was not
I don't know.
It was $300.
$300, thank you. So you're increasing it by $200 per month. Do you guys feel that it's good that we are voting on a raise ourselves? Or should that be put up by a committee or a board to suggest that we get a raise or not? Because does that look in the eyes of the public, we're giving ourselves a raise, and what's to say down the road? Even though we're cutting some of our expenses, but we are seen as that we're giving ourselves a raise?
I'll speak to that. I wasn't real thrilled about, I didn't realize it was 300 or whatever the amount was before. I thought it was 5. Doesn't matter. But this is a per diem amount for doing a duty. This is, we're reducing per diems over here. You may call it a salary, but if you don't act as deputy mayor, you're not getting the money. No different than if you don't go to a conference, those monies aren't allocated to you either. So I guess technically you could call it a raise, but it's more of a per diem, in my opinion.
So if I'm here 12 months out of the year and don't go anywhere, what does the deputy mayor do if I go to all meetings, all?
If you recall, I went through your expense.
Yes, you do.
Right, so there are things that are required, and there are, at times, Councillor Aberley can attest that now, you may not be gone this month or next,
Yes,
but there are times
You will
when the
fill in my
deputy mayor does a lot of work. a lot of work. And I will defend having a per diem for the deputy mayor all day long.
Okay, so we will have a vote on that, or, oh, sorry, question?
No, I'll speak in favor of it, that a plan for remunerating counselors for doing a task is not the same as a raise. And so this is related to doing duties that are above or beyond the role of a council member. It's an extra. So I'm okay with having a fee for that.
Thank you. Councillor Hoyle, you had your hand up?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay, so we need 3 of your friends, Dean.
They still around? So this is 5-1, did we decide on 5-1-5-1-0?
No, we have, are they,
This is,
no?
no.
We're $500 a month or 1,000?
1,000 for the year.
Yes.
Can I speak to that first? As we're just saying that, I'm wondering if it needs to go under per diem instead of salaries to actually make it reflective of that it isn't a salary increase, that it is actually a per diem. Toulouse?
Through the chair to Councillor Hoyle, because this will be paid when a member of council is in the role with their regular salaries. It's not a per diem, it is a wage.
Okay, thank you.
So, again, on the question. Opposed?
So 5-1-5-5-0, this is the per diem for committee, library, PHU, all the different things that we do. That was moved to $1,800.
Question, Hoyle, Councillor Hoyle.
Whatever you want at this time of day. So again, I go back to, I just prorated it to be a full year. We have one counselor last year. Oh, first of all, it was $4,500 last year. So was it already reduced from the 45 to 3? Is that correct?
No, we're in.
Sorry, we split that between the two
Okay,
different
thank
per
you.
diems. Yeah.
Okay, so then I'm looking at just strictly the council board per diems, and is that why I'm seeing these large numbers? Because they would be split in the new format. I've got a 2,600, I've got a 29, these are prorated for the whole year. I've got a 2,133, and I've got a 3,066. But, and what I'm hearing is those have been split, those are last year's numbers. So then they wouldn't reflect those amounts, they would be that, more of a split. Okay, I'm good, thank you.
Any further questions? If not, I'll ask for the vote. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
And 5-2-0-1-0, council travel from 3,000 to 2,000.
Any questions on that? Question I have, if we fall under the PD and we're still under budget, could be cheaper expenses to go to courses, but the traveling is more than the mileage, because that'll include, if you go anywhere for flights, so I imagine that would include flights and mileage?
Can I speak to this a little bit
Sure.
too? And all of this, and I think that this is important. This is just, all of us have the ability then, without asking for permission, if I want to go to Flin Flon, Manitoba to go learn something, I don't need anybody's approval to do so. I submit my receipts, give a report back, and away we go. However, that does not restrict anyone from finding out that there is something wonderful in Dauphin, Manitoba, that is, you've already did this, and you think that this is so important, you, as a counselor, have the ability to come here and sell the rest of us on that idea, and we could authorize that expenditure.
See, and now you're bringing a different answer to the question. We may go anywhere as long as we got permission from council.
But then council has to dictate where that money comes from, because it won't be coming from here.
See, and that's, and being new to this role, and I'm just asking questions that previous, so if we belong to the small mayors MCM group under 500, and the meeting is in Grand Prairie. So I go to Grand Prairie, then if I have another one in Calgary, so my mileage is done. And so I wouldn't be able to go to any other courses that we are a member of. So I come to you to ask permission for that to come out of.
Potentially.
Councillor Elder.
I do have a question then, because I'm looking at last year's. There's as high as $9,000 in travel and $6,000 and $4,000. I'm like, wow. Now you're cutting this to two. I don't understand.
Some of these things, part of the reason why we're having this discussion today, that I'm trying to be as fiscally responsible as possible.
Yeah, and that I'm okay with. Where was everybody going to spend $9,000, $6,000, $5,000? Like, I don't, like, I've never been here. So
No,
I
and
don't
that's fair, that's a fair question. For some of them, some people, it was going to Ottawa to FCM. For some, there was conferences, I'm not even sure. There could be, you could have gone to 2 AB Munich's conferences. You could have gone then to Ottawa. You could have gone to Whistler. Like, there was many different things.
Councillor Aberline?
Thank you, Mayor Branco. And I 100% agree with the fiscal responsibility. I'm challenging, or maybe asking, not challenging, I'm asking, why is there 6 and 9 when, if we had a budget of 3 for travel? And so is the, and I can't remember the last time I used my entire travel thing, but are we cutting off noses? I don't know what's starting with it. Why suddenly to a 2 where you would have had me at the 3? But now my head's wrapping around the 2.
I am not sold on 2 or 3. I'm looking of trying to be as fiscally responsible as possible. If you think that $3,000 is a better number, I potentially could support it, but not necessarily.
Yeah, and I do understand, like I was thinking, do I need to fly, what would $3,000 cost me within the province? I could probably get to a couple good places within the province for $3,000, and that wouldn't restrict me. And I'm just saying this part, and I'm starting to think out loud, and it is 5 o'clock, that I am completely willing in many of these discussions, if necessary, if there's something I really wanted to go to just pay for it myself, right? And whether I reduce money or do that. But then there's the part in the back of my head that's saying, but that's a privilege. And if there is something that, because I can afford that, and maybe not everybody around this table has that privilege, but they'd really benefit from our local, provincial conferences and meetings, and that's what's making me hesitant on reducing the numbers any, because my recommendation is we keep this at 3. It's 3 for all of us, and you pick or choose in the year. 2 doesn't seem reasonable for me to be able to do something. I can't wrap my head around 2. Thank you.
Councillor Nielsen.
Yes, I would like to make the amendment to maintain or to have our council number 52010 with a $3,000 limit without permission.
Any debate? If not, we'll ask for the can you put that on the board there? No. Don't need to, okay. Councilor Nielsen? Can we vote on that first amendment or no? No. Okay.
I can make amendment to amendment. Can I not?
We're not making motions, so sure.
I can even buy half of your argument, so I'd like to buy the difference. I think when we're talking about $3,000 for travel, that is an awful lot of money, no matter.
Speaking in the mic.
When we're talking about $3,000 for travel, I see that as a lot of money for travel. If this was coming to us for our staff across 100 employees, I'm not so sure we'd be so quick to jump on it and talk about value. No, I'm going to withdraw my amendment, and I'll vote on the motion as it stands.
Councillor Aberling.
Thank you, Mayor Bronco. If I was driving in central and southern Alberta, I totally agree with that argument. It's what if there's a really great learning opportunity for me in the Yukon, where I know we're under a different order of government, right? But there could be things that leave the borders of Alberta or even northern Alberta, and that's why that $3,000.
This includes
Thank you.
hotels.
Huh?
This also includes hotels.
Yeah.
Could I comment on that, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, please.
I don't disagree with the opportunities, but to put a number in, if there's, I could get and I don't mean to be facetious with this, there could be something really magical in Australia, but maybe not. But let's put in the $10,000 in case that opportunity presents itself. As Councillor Billingsley said, there's nothing stopping any one of us coming back before this council and saying, I've got X number of dollars here. This conference exceeds that. Here are the benefits. Here are the value merits to the city. Can you top me up X number of dollars? But as he said earlier, it would take some convincing. We may be looking at this individually saying, oh, that's maybe not enough money, but you multiply that by 7 individuals around the table. This is a significant coin for professional development. And we've been given the caveat to come back if need be. I don't want to have a placeholder of big dollar values that may or may not be used just in case something pops up. We ask when we do budgets for the rest of the city, don't put placeholders in. Put in what you need. And I think this is reflective of what I might need for professional development.
Councillor Elder.
So if I can, because again, no experience in this. If that was the case last year, did everybody come here to ask to up the budget? Because it's significantly over the 3,000 each, like significantly.
Coding is different, it has been split.
Council Sue?
You almost promoted me there. Part of, if I'm looking just as an example on Councillor Billingsley's old one, you'll notice that it's all coded to council travel, but there's nothing coded to training corporate. So it is a coding error, and I've asked Karen to go back and look at that, and it needs to actually be spread into the proper areas.
So I don't even know.
So we don't have the
what I'm
proper
talking about.
information here.
Well, the totals are right, they're just maybe in the wrong place, so not necessarily all of those budgets are over.
Okay?
And that's the reason why, when I say 514330 is for this, registrations for conferences. 550 is for board work specific, so that all of us around the table understand exactly what should be, so then you have a better idea if that's a reasonable number.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, to me, I'm fine. It just, now it makes a little more sense because it's not correct here. So whatever number you think, I'm happy with.
So clarification, Councillor Billingsley. Council travel includes hotel and mileage?
Yep. And if that's the case, I'm wondering if that $3,000 is probably because Calgary and back was
$500.
$300.
Yep, and hotels are 16, so
Wow.
everybody's has expired already.
So, anyway, Councillor Aberle said $3,000.
Question asked, how about, hypothetical question, we make a bylaw that says we only travel as a councillor in Alberta, because that's where our area and our travel in Alberta. Total, what do we have, $70,000, $80,000 of total budget, per diems, traveling, and I'm just waiting for an answer.
What's your question?
I'm just trying to find out what our total expenditure on traveling per diems per the 7 of us.
So you want the budget for all 7 council members
Yes.
for travel, per diems, training, all of it?
In
Yes.
2025?
What we allowed for 2026.
We'll just need a few minutes to calculate that.
Okay, and the reason I'm saying that, if we want to save 10, 15% off that total, if it's 80,000, we go to 50,000, then whenever we want to go, all of us come here and ask permission to go. Other than the per diems that we are sanctioned by this council.
I don't know where we're going, so.
Councilor Billingsley.
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 I would not support that at all. The whole idea of this was to be thoughtful and efficient with the money. And if you're talking about 15, this is an actual plan as opposed to just throwing out 15%. And this could potentially, could be more than 15%. And I'm not in the favor of, we went away from that years ago and I'll still support it, that it isn't one big pool or one big pot. If, for whatever reason, if I choose not to go, that's on me. Why should somebody else get my PD money? Does that make them smarter? Does that make them a better counselor because they take my money as well? And I don't think so. So I would not support having a pot again and go back to having individual buckets.
Councilor Nielsen.
Through the chair, Sue, did we not, in the last council, actually set the parameters which allowed people to make their own decisions about their professional growth, and that they didn't have to come back to council and ask permission, they just had to stay within their budget, meet the conditions of reporting, So there's already process procedure in place that we agreed to. So if to move to where Mayor Branco is wanting to go would be going back and revisiting that process.
Correct, that was the council remuneration policy, where you changed all of the, allowing the
conditions.
councilors, to make their own decisions.
Make their own decisions.
Yeah.
Right. Which means if we were to adopt what Councilor Branco is saying, or sorry, Mayor Branco is saying, we would have to go back to the very discussion we had earlier today.
Correct.
Thank
And
you.
I think Toulouse has that number.
Through the chair to Mayor Branco, the total for corporate training, per diem training and travel is 51,100. But I have left the travel still at the 3,000 since council hasn't voted yet. Thank you.
So could I ask what is on the floor at this point?
I think 3,000 on 52010.
3,000? Okay.
So stay the same.
Yeah. Stay the same, but you cannot go over, like, and that's where I agree with you 100%, is that, well, you can go over, but if you've gone over to, and I don't even know who that was, to 6533, that means the 3,533 has come out of your remuneration or your salary.
And that's what's in the new
Yeah.
policy.
Oh, sure. Okay, no, we're just asking a question because we know, but I'll be coming up later, I believe. Okay, all of those in favor to keep $3,000 the same? Opposed? Carried.
So, sorry, I just want to be clear. I am not sure we dealt with 51556. I thought we went from 550 to 010.
And it is true because I didn't change the number.
Thank you. I just want to let you know that I was on top of my game, eh?
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, obviously not.
So we left that all the same?
So can we have that little discussion? Do we have time? Now, you said FCM and MCMC were not actually in the council, or they're split?
So FCM is in council's corporate training, 51430.
Corporate training, 51430.
Oh, sorry, I'm in the wrong one, memberships. I gotta go to your memberships. 52140, memberships.
That is FCM.
FCM is in there for a total of $3,300.
What number was that, Sue?
Correct.
Counselor White.
Through the chair to administration, I'm curious to know the bulk of the other membership costs. Is there like, what's our biggest membership cost? Number one.
Alberta municipalities is 14,000.
14K for AB Munis?
Correct. And then there's just $300 in there for mayor's travel and $300 for RMA.
Thank you.
Counselor Billingsley.
Would we need a motion to cancel our membership to FCM?
I don't believe so. I don't think we have to give notice. The only one that would be really hard for us to divorce is going to be Alberta municipalities.
And I'm not looking to make that recommendation. So I am suggesting, putting it on the floor, or whatever you want to call it, for us to no longer be members of FCM.
Counselor Aberlin.
There, May, I can't speak. Thank you, Mayor Branco. I'm so scared to ask this question. Is membership in FCM have an advantage to us more than attending conferences for professional development? I'm trying not to use the word value.
Through the chair to Councillor Aberley, I think that is individual to each of you.
And Sue, FCM, do you apply about, oh God, I can't. 5 o'clock hit. Does FCM, I can't see it. Do they have grants and do they have stuff that gives us money?
They do have grants. They do have stuff. They do have grants, but I'm not sure that we actually have to be a member in order to capitalize on those. I'd have to look into that.
So they have stuff.
What kind of stuff you looking for? Can't get it in local?
Oh, it's getting late.
Councillor Nielsen.
Following up, and I mean that sincerely, typically, organizations that run conferences have registration fees for members and for non-members, right? And so I know that one of the concerns that Councillor Aberley expressed is that she was concerned that if we weren't members, we may not be able to attend. But in actual fact, she may be able to attend as a non-member and pay an elevated cost of doing so, but it wouldn't be restrictive.
That is correct.
Hope I covered it for you.
Councillor Billings.
And I'd like to speak to this, and I'm sure the FCM people are wonderful people, and I was just there in July, June, May, whenever it was. Been on council for 8 years. This is on to my 9th. I think I've been to MC or FCM twice. And over those the 8 years, I can think of one motion in those 8 years from members of council attending FCM conferences. One, the cost of FCM, now this year coming up is going to be different because it is in Alberta, but when it's in Niagara Falls or Toronto or Regina, it's a lot more money. And if you add up how much is spent through this organization, let alone the counselors going, but the support staff that goes along with the counselors, if some counselors end up going, has been tens of thousands of dollars. We got one motion out of it. Now you can talk about professional development, and I get that as well, but that's a lot of money. So I am asking for support of canceling our membership with FCM.
Well, I'm your friend on this one. So, a motion to cancel FCM as a membership. All of those in favor? Sure. Opposed? A lot of good stuff there, Karen, but you'll miss it. Thank you.
I will pay myself now to go just to learn how to speak. Thank you.
Thank you.
So this MCMC, this is another one, but that's somewhere else, you said. That's
It's in my budget, so it'll be your next page after council. Or, I guess, yeah, we're in different spots.
That under
in the-
non-functional?
No, in the,
The last.
Oh, the blue?
Yeah.
Nope.
Last page in the second blue one, or the first blue one.
page?
First blue one. Under non-functional?
See?
Is it under non-functional?
No, it's in the city manager's budget.
City managers, keep going.
It's Department 310,
Yeah.
cost center 040.
I got last page, thank you.
040, and the account?
The cost, or the GL is 52140 memberships. And this includes like a bunch of, like, I've got a PEGA, CAMA, PMI, LGAA, SLGM. There is 5,000 in there for Mid-Sized City Mayor's Caucus. It also includes our municipal information network publication, so the email that we get every day from across the country with news.
So, question, please?
Sorry, Councilor Nielsen?
Thank you. Through the chair, Sue, so when you say that the dollars are there under memberships, 52140, that's the membership fee?
Correct.
So that has nothing to do with the travel allotment if somebody attends?
That is
It's just the
correct.
membership?
Yep.
Thank you.
Councilor Billingsley.
Yeah, there are 24 municipalities across the province, and you have to be a city and, yeah, a certain size.
So, and it's really new, relatively new, and very, I won't say unstructured, because that wouldn't be fair to the organization, but it's not a fine-oiled machine like AB Munis is. What's happened is it was really run off the side of the desk of Strathmore? No.
Cochrane was the
Cochrane.
chair.
Yeah, Cochrane. So the city manager and the mayor were no longer part of they're no longer around. Now, they had hired a consultant to kind of overlook it all. I have grave concerns of where this is going and the monies that we spend and what we're going to get out of it, and the expenses that are associated. We got that email of what we spent with MCMC last year, and it was a sizable amount, and I'm not sure of the benefit that this organization got from MCMC.
So you're,
Asking to pull out of, I
Okay,
would like
that's
us to
what
pull out of MCMC.
so canceling MCM membership. Councilor Elder.
My question would be, if it's similar to UB or AB Munis, but not so smooth, why do it?
I'd like to speak to that as well. So, AB Munis gives us a lot of support. All the benefits that all the staff through Sun Life, I believe, Sun Life is we receive a preferred rate because we belong to AB Munis. There are a lot of supports within AB Munis. It is a well-oiled machine.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that MCMC is a bad idea. I'm just not sure when we spend $15,000, I think it was $15,000 is the number there throughout the year, that we're getting that type of value back.
Councilor Aberline and then Councilor Nielsen.
Thank you, Mayor Branco. Through the chair to council, the main difference I saw, and I will admit, I went once as deputy mayor to a meeting where it was just the mayor's meeting, and then once there was a weekend. And the size of it making it smaller And so smaller and people-wise made interaction, and maybe not mentorship is what I meant, but mentorship a little bit easier. And I did find that more at the mayor's table when I sat there, that it was more about being able to have friends that understand you, sit there and discuss some of the similar issues that you have. And then the learning experience that councilors and mayor were at was just different than AB Munis. I really liked it in that it was, I just see them as being two different. One's very formal, and one was just a little bit less formal, and to me had its own function, and I wouldn't want to see them get like AB Munis because that's where it functioned. But I haven't been to an event in well over a year. Like, it's been 2 years since I've been to one, so it's hard for me to justify the value because I haven't seen what you've seen.
Councilor Nielsen.
Through the chair to Sue, because, sorry, similar to Karen, I attended one session, or one MC meeting. And so it's hard for me to assess the value. I think our former mayor, from his role with Alberta Munis and then being involved in MCMC, certainly was more involved and more invested, because those two organizations, in a roundabout way, while they weren't necessarily working together, they may have complemented each other a little bit. I guess I'm not convinced that we should be out, but I'm not 100% convinced we should be in. How's that for straddling the fence? So my question to you, Sue, is, sorry, it's contagious on the side of the table.
Mark, you're next.
No way.
Be careful.
I know that, I believe that you found value in MCMC in terms of your connections to other city managers and what was going on and the issues they were dealing with regard to new legislation coming out and how they were dealing with it in their own municipalities. Where did you see value, other than through your office, where did you see value coming back through our representatives that attended that for our community?
It's a double-edged sword. I found the most value on the administrative side of this, and so I have been working with the mid-sized city CAOs and municipal affairs to help give them ideas and guidance towards legislation changes that are happening, and so I think there's a lot of value in that side of it. The value that I found at the events was some learning, but mostly it was like a really great support group, because we're all going through a lot of very similar things, and you do get some ideas similar to AB Munis. You get some ideas from other communities on what they're doing, and because it's a smaller, more intimate group, those ideas flow a lot more freely. But the most value I personally find is, A, I like to know what the mayors are all talking about so I can get ahead of it administratively, and B, just that administrative side of it where we're dealing with legislation and getting into the nitty-gritty of what municipal governance is looking like.
So this is a loaded question, so you may or may not be able to answer it. Can you think of a circumstance or an instance that ended up being actioned in this room because of council's attendance at this? I suspect there may have been some changes in this room based on recommendations that you brought forward administratively based on your interactions with your colleagues. My question is related to anytime we had mayors and/or council members there, could you cite an example where something came back and was actioned in this room as a result of attending that?
No.
And with that response, can we be members to ensure that the CAO stays connected with other CAOs through MCMC, or must there be elected representation there?
I don't know, actually. I didn't look into that. I was planning to reach out to the cohort and say, don't leave me just because my council left you, hoping that they would keep me in the loop, but I certainly probably wouldn't be invited to all the tables that I am currently invited to. But again, I think that is a decision of council to figure whether you find it valuable that I'm talking to municipal affairs or not. That's up to you.
Okay, and I'm going to continue here a little bit. And how often do they meet?
It's twice a year in person, once every 4 years for a summit where all of council is invited, and then we meet monthly virtually.
So the actual expenditure for attendance, aside from the membership, would be a maximum of twice
a year.
yearly.
Plus Stampede. But we can go to Stampede without MCMC, we just won't be invited to that one rooftop.
Yeah. Well, I can bump into Jason Nixon somewhere else.
We're not going to count.
So, in echoing some of Councillor Billingsley's comments, I'm not sure where this will end up and who will take the reins to make this run. I'm going to vote in favor of staying in and finding out where this goes. It may fall apart on its own due to the lack of leadership, and that will give us a good indication. But we may get new leadership that really takes us in a new direction that will be beneficial. Most importantly, I don't want to lose the opportunity for your professional growth and connectedness with other CEOs, because I see value in that coming back into our organization.
If I may, before the vote, I've been to one of the mayor's meeting many moons ago. FCM is more of a professional. What they do for us, we lobby the government, which has a very powerful organization to lobby, get information, and I think when we have issues, we want to change some stuff in the Alberta. I can't forget this stuff. Okay, sorry, Karen. But when we want to change something, we want to ask for a change on our political scenery, we can do that by resolutions and stuff. So we have a voice, a more powerful voice in FCM. So if I was myself to vote, I would stay with FCM.
We've already decided to get out of FCM.
No, I'm sorry. AUMA Muni, I'm sorry.
We're not talking about that.
No, we're not, but I'm just saying, you're asking which one, for me, if I were to choose, with Mayor's Caucus or that Mayor's, I prefer to stay with that other one, but I will support you on that.
So, you'll support me or Councillor Nielsen?
I'll support you. You got a friend.
Okay. Well, I was just going to say, I'm not sure, do you know if MCMC has, I only went maybe twice. Do they have resolutions and like AB Munis has? I don't remember.
They agree because it's a smaller group, they're more nimble, so they agree on what it is that they're going to lobby for. And it is specific to mid-sized city issues.
Sure.
Which, yeah, because Edmonton and Calgary have their own charter, and they have gained a lot of traction in being able to say, we're also 1 million people in this province, and you need to listen to us.
So to Councillor Deaning of Billingsley, I'll get that straight, Dean. So all those in favor of not being in MCM. And the mayor's, all of those to not join membership, to not be in. So all of those in favor
Of not being in it.
of not being in. Oppose?
Yeah.
Oppose is win.
Yeah, we need to.
Thank you. I think we're going to recess for tomorrow, till tomorrow, 9 o'clock, so we will do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you to all the staff for bearing with us.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.